Hello everyone, I hope your virtual day is off to a great start. For the first part of our virtual lesson for today, you guys are going to watch this video in which we introduce to you our second mastery assessment of the semester, our literary analysis essay. So let's first talk about the task at hand. What is a literary analysis essay? Now, depending upon perhaps your experiences in middle school, this may either be a familiar type of writing to you, or it may be brand new. So we are going to be tackling this thing together, regardless of what your prior experience is, because this will be a form of writing that many of you will continue to replicate, not just here in high school, but in college English classes as well. So let's start with a definition. A literary analysis paper requires you to closely explore the literary devices and narrative techniques within a story or a poem. This task encourages you to think about how and why a piece of literature was written, and to consider the significance of the author's choices and overall message. Now, just to be clear, this is very much what we have been doing all unit long. It's just that now we're taking all of this thought and all of these conversations that we've been having, and we are going to be formalizing that into a piece of writing. So let's go ahead and break down this assessment. The type of writing, as we just mentioned, is a literary analysis essay. The required length is 5 paragraphs, and we do mean 5 paragraphs specifically, not 3, not 4, not 6, but we will be working within the 5-paragraph essay structure. Again, this is something that may be very familiar to you from middle school. It is not the only way to write an essay, but it is a great place to start, because a 5-paragraph structure gives you a really strong strategy that you can always come back to whenever you need it, whether it be on future pieces of writing or whether it be on a big standardized assessment of some kind. It's a great tool to have in your back pocket, and then we can continue to build off of that 5-paragraph structure over the next several courses here at Metro. All right, now what text are you going to be analyzing? Well, you are actually going to have your choice between 3 different short stories, each featuring very diverse teenage voices. We'll talk more specifically about which short stories you have to choose from and what each of those stories sort of entails. Now, the writing prompt that each of you will be responding to is as follows. After carefully reading your selected short story, compose an essay that critically analyzes and explains how 3 distinct literary devices or narrative choices contribute to the overall effectiveness of your story. So let's really make sure that we break that down. So we're looking for 3 distinct literary devices. So think back over that huge presentation that we all went through, or all those different Quizlet cards. We're looking for 3 specific devices and how each of those devices contributes to the overall effectiveness of the story. So how they each function in an important way. All right, now you will compose a 5-paragraph essay that features the following. These are all components that we will be looking for in your final essay. 1, an MLA header, masthead, page numbers, and title. Again, MLA may be something that you are already familiar with, or it may be something that's brand new to you. Don't worry, we're going to get you up to speed. The second component that you will be required to include is an effective introduction and a 3-part thesis statement. We also want to see body paragraphs that begin with clear and specific topic sentences, followed by strong supporting evidence and thoughtful analysis or explanation. We'll be really hitting this body paragraph structure hard in this assignment. 4th on our list is accurate usage of both semicolons and colons. That means that we are going to be really pulling in some grammar mini lessons here over the next several days as we brush up on semicolons and colons to be used within our writing. We want to make sure that we can use transition words between and within paragraphs, that we can channel a formal tone that avoids contractions and first, second person pronouns, that we can compose a conclusion that restates our thesis and provides a broader significance to close our essay. And as always, last but not least, we want to make sure that we have accurate spelling throughout. So then, getting started. As I mentioned, you have 3 short stories to choose from, and there can be no writing that we begin with until you've actually chosen your story. So one of your first tasks here today is going to be to preview each of the 3 options ahead of you. I have a brief synopsis for each one, as well as access to both a PDF copy of that short story and an audio version. All right, so here our first selection you can see is a short story entitled Marigolds by Eugenia Collier. Our second short story is Rules of the Game by Amy Tan. And our third option is Broken Chain by Gary Soto. So all 3 of these are very, very well-known short stories, all featuring young, diverse teenage voices. We encourage you to pick the short story that you are most drawn to. The more you have a natural connection to the story you choose and the characters that you choose, the more enjoyable it's going to be to write about it. All right, so once again, part of your assignment today is to begin by selecting your short story for this essay. Now, once you have done that, your next task will be to actually read that. And this will take up the bulk of your time here today during our virtual day. Using the critical reading skills that we have learned over the first half of this unit, you are asked to independently read your selected short story 1 to 2 times. Over the course of this entire assignment, you'll probably read it much more than that. But today we're asking you to read your short story 1 to 2 times. As you read, we want to make sure that you are also keeping notes of all of the reactions and the questions and the key observations that you're making as you read, so that we can then begin to use some of those ideas as we start to do our pre-writing early next week. You are going to do this in an assignment document that is provided in our virtual day folder in Schoology, titled the Short Story Selection and Annotation Document. Now, I do want to throw out there that you will have the opportunity to thoughtfully discuss your text with other classmates in a few days. So you want to make sure that you are prepared for that discussion. And this is how you do that. You need to be thoroughly reading and you need to be annotating. Your annotations and short story selection will be due at the end of the day by 11:59 at the latest. And that will make up your required component for our virtual day here on October 9th. Any questions can be emailed to myself, Ms. Brown, or Mrs. Cuno. Remember that we are all 3 going to be very busy that day, taking our own classes and attending meetings, so we will do our best to answer questions as they come in, but please have a bit of patience and make sure that you are using all of the resources available to you to answer your own questions first. All right, I hope you guys have a great day. Happy reading.